Finally, the maid makes her appearance. Finally, Ayano has made her appearance, and she's super cute. I was really wondering when this girl was going to show up. She's been in the OP for forever, and yes, it pretty much spoils that she's kind of a maid of the family, which you get from the context of how she greets Kuze. She literally calls him Sama. She calls him master, and that's not something you typically get from a random girl showing up at a school in a school setting and saying Sama. That's got to be something of a position or whatever of power. Now the question mark is, why doesn't it seem like Kuze likes Ayano? Like, it seems like he's really mad that she's there. Now, that could be that he knows that she's the family maid, and why is she there? Is she even a student there? Is she showing up there because, you know, Yuki has basically dragged her in there? Yuki's over here with a smug look. The entire episode is Yuki smug faces. She is just causing havoc. I really do feel like, since Kuze has chosen to go with Alya, it really feels like Yuki is just trying to push them. She's trying to push their buttons as much as she can. Now, the question mark is she trying to push Alya so that she doesn't break Kuze's heart? Is she trying to push them in multiple ways in order to get them to try harder? Or is Yuki just straight jealous and she's trying to make Kuze's life miserable? I mean, it can go all directions, but I'm loving it. Like, I'm loving it. It's literally what's creating this fun of the rom-com in this situation is really just how much Yuki is throwing these wrenches in and causing them to do things. Like the whole beginning scene, yes, having them go into this little classroom separately, kind of sussing out the whole situation between the two of them. Yes, Kuze has chosen to go with Alya. Alya wants Yuki to know because, again, Alya doesn't know they're not siblings. Like, that continues to be a thing. Like, Kuze, you're going to have to tell her eventually. And I know that they're not doing it just because the writer loves this. Like, and we all love this. This is the fun thing. And the moment that Alya finally knows that Yuki is related to Kuze, it's going to ruin this little kind of chemistry they have. I kind of wonder, if Ayana will be the one that will slip it. Like, I'm curious if Ayana will be the one that will slip the whole situation. She's going to call Kuze Masachika-sama, but I'm curious at what point she's going to maybe reveal that, yes, she is a maid for Yuki at her home, and that since she's got that same respect for Kuze, it's obviously the same thing here. Like, now, granted, as a maid character, as a maid personality, she could end up calling everybody that. Like, she could refer to Masha as Kujo-sama. So it could be a thing that won't really kind of be present there, but it's still, I was kind of curious if possibly she will reveal that. But yeah, anyways, they have that little scene there. Yes, Yuki just steps up and says, I love him. Just so you know, I love him. It just completely throws Alya off. Like, yeah, you chose you. I'm really mad about that, but I'm not mad really because Kuze chose that. He chose that, and I'm going to respect that he chose that. But at the same time, what are your feelings? I've presented it, I've admitted it, I've put it out there. What are your feelings? Again, it almost feels like Yuki is literally trying to push her, stop messing around. I wanted to help Kuze with his problem. Again, that the previous episode indicates the idea that, yes, Kuze has a problem. He has a problem with trust. He has a problem with self-confidence. He has all these problems that Yuki was trying to help him with. And in this situation where he's basically chosen Alya, he's chose her, which kind of sucks because I wanted to be the one that helps him up. But I'm not giving up. And I think that's really in the idea that she's still going to try to support Kuze, even if you put aside the Wincest stuff. Put that aside. Let's talk seriously for a minute. We all want that fun in there with the Wincest stuff, but in serious nature, it obviously seems like she knows that he's broken, wants to help him. And I think with the appearance of Alya essentially giving him that boost to want to do something again and have confidence in himself, she's not sure that Alya will be enough for him. And I think that's why she's not giving up. She's still going to be there to support Kuze because she doesn't think that Alya will do it. And I think that makes sense. If you're in a position where you have somebody that is hurt and broken and you want to support them and help them back up on their feet, and it's taking a while, this is an ongoing process. He's not going to fix overnight. And then somebody else shows up and shows some sort of, I guess, benefit to him, and they're choosing to push themselves once again for that person, yeah, it's fine. I don't have to be the one that fixes him. But I'm still going to be there because what if that person ditches him? He's going to fall even harder. So I think that's sort of what they're presenting here, is that Yuki's not going to trust Alya completely to fix him and to help him up on his feet and support him. So I think that's kind of why she's pushing Alya so much, Do you like him? Like, I put it out there. Why won't you put it out there? Make your mind up. Say something right now. Tell me that. And that's why I think she accepts the idea that Alya says, he's very important to me. I can't say that, but at the same time, I'm not going to lose to you. So I think Yuki accepts that statement. Okay, so she's serious. Good. That's enough for me right now. That's all she needs to know. Okay, so you are serious about Kuze, that he is very important to you. That's enough. I don't need an I love you from you. I'll accept that. But she's still going to prod her. Like, she's still going to push her and keep pushing her. So they'll get the smug faces when they go back to the classroom. I love it. I love those smug faces. And Alya is just having to push herself. Get up right next to him. Well, the corner is the jinx. Oh, yeah. Is that true, Masha? Well, yeah. It means that she's going to get married soon. Are you actually going to get married soon? No, it's too early for that. You're saying that in Russian and she's sitting right there. I love that little note there. Like, yeah, technically Masha knows Russian too. And you're saying that in front of her. I know what you're saying. You don't know that I know what you're saying. It's goofy. That stuff was goofy. Had a brief moment with Masha showing how, like, very, I guess, hardworking she is. Some cute little Masha moments. Her making tea. Him having a brief vision of his mother. It hasn't really strictly said that he doesn't like his mom. He says that, yeah, my mom liked black tea too. It's a very brief shot. It wasn't a bad shot. The shot that they showed of the mother didn't look bad. He looked a little pained, or at least concentrated on the situation, but he didn't look mad, and the shot didn't look mad. Now, it did imply before that she sort of pushed back, the idea that he was never there, and she could have been the reason why they broke up, but it never made it out as if he hated his mother. He just chose to go with his father, and Yuki went with the mother. So I'm hoping here soon we might get a little more insight in there, but at least it kind of dredged up a little bit there to kind of show that he was thinking about his mother. But yeah, it gets into him learning Russian again and all that stuff. And then, yes, him going out to a restaurant with Alya. Immediately like, yeah, we need to discuss our candidacy. Oh, so it's a date. Okay, she said that in Russian. Goes in there. The entire time, he's actually been good. He's like running her through everything that she needs to know about the candidacy and how, yes, in her current state, she's not going to win against Yuki. So he's got to figure out some sort of path that's sideways. Like, he mentioned the fact that the current president, apparently, he came in to this new school year, and yeah, he's never been a president before, and the previous person was in the previous school. Alya is kind of being a mirror to the current president. And the way that he won is that, yes, he aired out his laundry. He did an interview but talked about his path to victory. How back here he was chunky, he was a nobody, and then he worked really hard, lost all that weight, got really good grades, and became the person he was. And everybody started cheering him on. And Alya has sort of those same tendencies. She has a lot of accomplishments that she can sort of put out there. And that's sort of what he's saying there. But that's not the important part of the scene. The entire time, Alya's mad because he's too casual about the situation. We're in a family restaurant. You're in a family restaurant with a girl, and you don't even look like you're bothered by this, and it bugs her. They're really, really pushing heavy on Alya just being super doki-doki and not sure about those feelings. And so it is kind of nice and refreshing to sort of have constantly getting Alya's inner perspective. Because typically with something like this, you won't get the inner dialogue of the female character. You kind of have to go by their expression and what they say. And here we're getting a full, clear view. And yes, it has a lot to do with Yuki and what she said there. But she's been doing this for a while now. She's trying to figure out her feelings, and so she's constantly flustered and going, why isn't he seeing that? Oh, does he go to restaurants like this all the time with girls? So that's why he's not bothered? Well, I need to mess him up. I need to mess with him. And so yes, do the whole spoon thing. In Russia, it's okay. That's like her go-to every single time. In Russia, it's okay to sit next to somebody. In Russia, it's okay to eat from their spoon. And then she won't touch the spoon after that, though. It was really good. And then the later part to have him... He picks up this really spicy spoonful and has Yuki and Masha in his head going, no, you shouldn't do that. Do it, brother. Do it, Aniki. And then gives it to her, yeah. I mean, Alya could have chosen not to do it, but it is one of those things of like, he totally played into it because he knows it's going to mess with her and he wanted to see that face. Otherwise, why would he do it? He knows that she doesn't like it. He knows that she can't do it, but he's obviously doing it because he just wants to see the expression and see what happens to her. Wants to tease her. Even though he gets super mad at Yuki for messing with Alya, obviously, Yuki said something to her. Yuki messed her up. What did Yuki tell her? He does it too. He messed with her. Even when Alya was asking him, like, what is your relationship with Yuki? You're going out on a date? No, definitely not. you got to understand that she's not the prim and proper person that you think she is. She's doing this stuff to mess with you, and she loves it. So don't play into it. And then he does it. He's literally doing what Yuki does all the time and messing with Alya. It was good stuff. But no, it kind of wraps up the episode. Getting into two subjects here. One is the first is that, okay, so who is Yuki going to choose as their running mate? And yeah, there's a side of me that almost believed that it could have been Masha, which is kind of surprising there. Like, Masha didn't even come up, I don't think. They did bring up Taniyama, which was who Yuki and Kuze beat before. And she seems obviously devastated in that whole flashback, so it's obvious he's thinking, did she completely give up on it? And it does seem like that was one of the initial reasons why he didn't want to run, is every time he thought about running, he thought about that scene. He crushed Taniyama's dreams. She had a lot of hope for there. It seems to show a lot of shot where he sort of feels like he is at fault for her dreams being shattered. He was helping Yuki, but it seems like this is really hitting him hard. But no, it ends up being, I don't know, like I said, this girl that is addressing him as Sama, or a master. And so obviously, again, from Yuki's house, which is a very nice house, a very, very rich house. So apparently the maid showed up. And again, I'm curious as to why he doesn't like Ayano. He's upset of her being there. And again, a lot of that could be because he grew up with her, knows her very personally. It could be an aspect that she might be extremely obsessed with him. That would be a funny case there, to have this maid character that is really obsessed with him that he got away with a long time ago, but now she's back in his life because she's at the school suddenly and working on the other side. And again, I think a lot of that is that it could be that Ayano's extremely skillful, being like the typical maid character. They're really perfect at doing anything. Clerical work that is going to help Yuki a lot, and he knows how skilled she is. But it could also be that she just gets under his skin because she's a maid, and that she treats him like a master and is obsessed with fulfilling things for him. They could do a lot of really funny stuff, but she's, yeah, like I said, she's super cute. I think I like that hairstyle, that demeanor. She's adorable. So I'm looking forward to what sort of dynamic she adds to the whole situation. But until then, that's episode 6. That's my thoughts on the episode. Really, really enjoyed it. Some fun stuff here, some good insights, and definitely kind of setting up for what's to come. My curious question mark is, since it seems like the ball's rolling really quickly right now for the student council and everything like that, it makes me wonder if by the end of this season we'll get at least that initial meeting. Because Kuze mentioned that typically they'll have a lot of candidates and they'll do an initial meeting, and they'll address different ideas for if they became president. And a lot of them get sussed out that way. But he did mention the idea that that's typically whenever you have like 12 candidates. And this was a good way to kind of, bring it down to like 3. So it might not be necessary here because you have Kuze and Alya, and then you have Yuki and Ayano. They might slip somebody else in there. I'll be curious if that will end up being Taniyama. Will he encourage Taniyama to try again? That would be interesting. But yeah, I think we might. If they still do that meeting, I'm curious if they'll end up having that be sort of the ending of this season. But I'll be curious, because we're not going to get into them being president because we're still in this year. That would be a whole year span they'd have to go through. Not a whole year, but at least a half a year span that they'll have to rush through for the end of the season, which that's a lot of time to kind of run through. So anyhow, that's my thoughts on the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button down below, comment, let me know what's on the episode. Additionally, if you're new here, subscribe before you leave. If you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate what it does. Until next time, y'all take care.